Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Arif. And looking back at this footage I shot back in February 2024, I realized something really important. This awesome pitch Galaxy 23 wasn't just a budget phone, it was a psychological endurance test. I used this device specifically for a week as my daily driver back then, and while I moved on to so much better things in 2026, the absolute frustration from this 4 gigabyte RAM model remains burned into my memory. And if you're browsing the used market right now and you're looking at purchasing a Galaxy 23 because the price is really tempting, do not hit that buy button until you hear exactly what happened during that week. Let's start with the one area where Samsung actually got everything right, the aesthetics. Oh my god, taking a look at this device, this peach color was a total standout in a sea of boring gray, black, and then all the other budget slabs that we had, and currently we also do. It had this vibrant pastel vibe, so it made it look much more expensive than it actually was from a distance. But the awesome part, it ended right there at the color. The entire build was pure glossy plastic. The back panel was an absolute magnet for fingerprints, smudges, and dust. And honestly, it felt like trying to hold a piece of wet soap. It was incredibly slippery that I spent more time aggressively gripping the phone to prevent it from sliding out of my hands than I did actually enjoying it. You absolutely had to put a case on it, which I didn't have at that time, and it defeats the entire purpose of this beautiful peach finish. Now, on the physical hardware side, it did have a few saving graces that we don't see anymore. It had a physical headphone jack at the bottom, which is nice touch for wide audio fans. And then the side-mounted fingerprint scanner built into the power button was actually quite fast and reliable. One of the few things on that phone that responded instantly. But then you listen to the audio, it only had a single bottom firing speaker, it was teeny, and then it lacked any sort of bass. And if you accidentally covered it with your pinky while watching YouTube, your audio was completely muted. Flipping over to the display, I remember being initially excited on paper that it had back like a 6.6-inch display with a 90Hz refresh rate. For a budget device at that time, 90Hz sounded like a steal. But here's the reality check. It was a PLS LCD panel, not Samsung's famous AMOLED. That meant the colors were slightly muted, the blacks looks grayish, and outdoor visibility was a massive struggle. Taking this phone out into a bright sun meant I was squinting just to read my text messages. Furthermore, the design of the front was incredibly dated. It featured this thick chin at the bottom and a water drop notch, or as Samsung calls it, the Infinity V display, which made it look like a phone from back in 2019 and not 2022. But the screen technology wasn't even the biggest issue here. It was a marketing lie behind the 90Hz. I quickly learned that a 90Hz refresh rate does not matter when all of your internal hardware cannot keep up with the UI stability. The processor inside was the Snapdragon 680. It's this 6nm chip that focuses more on the battery efficiency over power, which is fine for a budget phone, but the fatal flaw over here is it was paired with a 4 gigs RAM. While it's trying to run Samsung's heavy One UI OS, the 4 gigs of RAM was a miserable experience. The processor was constantly gasping for air. Swapping through my app drawer felt like watching a slideshow. When I tried to do basic multitasking like jumping from watching a YouTube video over to WhatsApp to reply message, the phone would suddenly freeze for 2 to 3 seconds. And background app retention, well, that does not exist. Every time I went back to a previous app, it had to reload from scratch now and then. Opening the camera app took so long that I actually missed moments I was trying to photograph multiple times. I thought my specific unit was defective, but after diving into Reddit and other forums, I found out that other users have been complaining about the exact same severe lag issue, and there's micro stutters and the aggressive background app killing on that 4 gigabyte model. The UI was constantly dropping frames, making the 90Hz display completely useless. Gaming was where this bottleneck peaked. I pushed it with games like PUBG Mobile and Mobile Legends. Could it run it? Technically, yes, on the lowest graphics settings, but the experience was completely hollow. Within 15 minutes of a match, the plastic area right near the camera module would get uncomfortably warm. The thermal throttling kicked in fast. It turns the frame rates into a choppy mess. So to make the matters worse, the touch sampling rate felt severely delayed. In fast-paced moments where split-second reactions mattered, it felt like my screen inputs were being treated as suggestions rather than actual commands. It became immediately clear that the 4GB variant was never designed for anything more demanding than just basic social media scrolling. Let's talk about the cameras here because they were a mixed bag of decent hardware ruined by terrible software optimization. The main shooter was a 50 megapixel lens with OIS, and for a budget phone, having OIS is a massive win. And in broad daylight, it captured totally fine Instagram ready shots, but the shutter lag was atrocious. You could press the button and the phone had to sit and think about it before actually capturing the frame. The other lenses were basically useless. The 5 megapixel ultra wide took muddy shots and they were quite soft when you zoomed in. And then the 2 megapixel macro lens was just purely there just so Samsung could market it as a quad camera setup because of that weak Snapdragon chip. Video recording was capped at 1080p at 30 fps, no 4K, no 60 fps, just basic slightly jittery video here. But the absolute deal breaker, the reason I ultimately packed this phone away after a week was its reliability. The only genuine impressive thing about this A23 was the battery it packed. It was a massive 5000 mAh battery. It is paired with a lower power chip and an LCD screen, so it lasted like a day and a half. But honestly, it only lasted that long because the phone was so frustratingly slow that I avoided using it. It supported 25-watt fast charging, which took over an hour and a half to fill up, but that endurance was the only silver lining to an otherwise miserable experience. So what is a verdict in 2026? This Galaxy A23, specifically the 4GB model, is it a relic of the budget era that we should all leave behind? Or should we just go and grab one? Let me tell you, the software bottleneck, the thermal issues, the dreaded black screen bug, it makes it a device that you should avoid at all costs on the second-hand market. Do not let that cheap price tag or that awesome peach color fool you. Save your money, skip the 4GB trap, and if you want to see a phone that actually aged with grace and it handles modern apps without breaking a sweat, you need to watch my long-term review of the S21 Ultra right here. Until then, I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye.